everybody. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. So, today we are going to be talking about Wacko Gavin. Wacko Gavin. Today we're going to be talking about Wacko Gavin. So, we got Wacko Gavin Newsom. He sat up there and he said that this is Trump's mess. He is telling a big, fat, complete lie. You know, it's like the immigrants are coddling him and he's coddling them back. I get it. I get that there are a lot of immigrants there. I get it. And that is their home. But if you break the law, you have to pay for it. And that's why a lot of people are mad, because the people that are breaking the law is living a double life. You can't get mad at them because they're doing their job. You have to sit up there and get mad at the people that broke the law. Don't get mad at ICE for doing their job and having to wear masks so that they won't uh, show their face, and then they'll be targeted. Look at how they're targeted now, you know, and it's just sad. He said he's going to sue the Trump administration. And I'm like, for what? For what? For what? What are you suing the Trump administration for? It took you 2 hours to sit up there and help those individuals, those law enforcement individuals that were suffering and scared and had fear in their hearts because they, it was a lot going on with that situation. And when they finally came in, it took you 2 hours for the law to be enforced. No, that's unacceptable, Gavin Newsom. That's very unacceptable. I may not have, the proper vocabulary as elaborate as you, but what you said was dead wrong, especially Karen Bass. Karen Bass had a nerve, y'all, to say, well, they, during the course of the protest, whether it's about, illegal immigration or about, somebody winning the Super Bowl or whatever the case may be, they do their protests, and it's only a handful of people that want to ignite cars on fire. I'm like, you're okay with that? You're really okay with the fact that people ignite cars on fire? These are innocent people vehicles. These are innocent people vehicles. That shows that they have no maturity to them. They have no maturity. And they probably don't drive. They don't, and if they drive, Lord Jesus, get them off the highways. Because to sit up there and literally don't care about burning someone's vehicle is just wrong in itself. People need cars and vehicles to get around in California, and you're burning them up. You're placing graffiti saying F ICE, and you're doing it right on camera. You're doing it right on camera. That is sick. That is very sick. So I say to myself, are all Hispanics like this? I want to have some faith in Hispanics and say, are all Hispanics that live in the state of California doing some type of crime? Because just imagine how much footage they have to go through to sort out who was the culprits in the crime. They are trying to start this chaotic revolution that isn't going to work. And like I said before, the cameras show everything. And they didn't even care. They think wearing masks is going to help, but there's cameras everywhere in California, and just think about how many people will be going to federal jail and how many people were illegal immigrants that were there. I know there's some Hispanics out there that's saying that they making us look like bad people. It has to be. And it's heartbreaking to know that this is what they're all of, the residents that came to the protest are all about, which is fighting, graffiti making, like belligerent graffiti making, and spitting in an officer's face. There were a couple officers, I believe, that were injured. But that leads me to the next question. That leads me to the next question. Okay, so you have people, there are phones, our phones. Sorry about that, you guys. Our phones that we use to literally talk on. I'm not going to talk about this on TikTok. I hope you join me on the Kimberly Cloud Show on Facebook. But it's the truth that on TikTok, sorry, I'm about to get off. Okay, hold on. Let me see something. Okay, so it's the truth that there's electric magnetic radiation coming from Wi-Fi. They say it's too minute to cause cancer, but it does cause some brain infunctions when you're around that phone and that Wi-Fi is booming towards you. So it's like a little bubble. You're surrounded by little bubbles of electromagnetic radiation. I got two bubbles because I have both my computer and both my phone, right? So, with that being said, you have those, and you are, your brain changes. And that means that you change. And let me get off of here before TikTok try to kick me off of here. Follow me at the Kimberly Cloud Show 39 on Facebook. So, like I was saying before, it's electromagnetic frequency, not frequency, but it's frequency and radiation. But imagine, um, how can I say this? The brain chemistry change. It can exert anger. Let me read it to you guys. I'll read it. Hold on. Um, can electromagnetic radiation cause anger issues? While some studies suggest a link between electromagnetic radiation, EMR, and behavior changes, including anger, the connection is not definitively established and requires further research. Long-term exposure to EMR has been linked to and brain regions associated with emotions, such as the amygdala, which affect emotional behavior. However, the specific mechanisms and the extent of this influence are still being investigated. You know, Wi-Fi just came out. Let's see when Wi-Fi came out. Probably like it's been out for a while. Let's go to Google. Since the 1990s. 1990, 97 to be exact, with those big bulky cell phones. So whoever has came across cell phones, which I have, I've seen one of those bulky cell phones, you know, it changes the they can't definitively say that it changes the mood, but it does change the mood, which leads me to believe that there's a private sector that the Democrats have, that they can produce anger through whatever they doing, because all of those people at the riots and the protests had phones. All of them, they had phones. And that means that they were possibly persuaded through anger, through certain electromagnetic radiation frequencies, to perform that act of violence. I finally got the proof that I need to show what Mexico and what the Democrats of America have the private sector that we will never know about what they're doing to do. Just like they invest in $20 million into um, studying young children. You know, you have Sigmund Freud that said boy turns into adolescent, which turns into a man, which therefore stops, and he doesn't have a mature brain, which means that they're trying to do something with the immature brain, because a mature brain doesn't happen until at least 24, 25. A male's brain isn't mature until at least 24, 25 years old, if y'all did not know. So why are they trying to mess with the immature brain? Let me get off of here. Hold on.